Okay, we're back. Sorry to say, another tornado warning has been issued. Yes, Anne Arundel County again, but this time it does include downtown Annapolis. So all of my Annapolis people, I'm married to one, a tornado warning until 6:45, and this does include all of the downtown area. It is just south of our previous tornado warning that was issued for Anne Arundel County. And when we earlier looked at it, we didn't really see a lot of rotation in that northernmost tornado warning, but we'll check it and see maybe if this one has some better rotation within it. Over the last couple of frames, we'll see, it looks like it would be kind of right
178 there.
Yeah,
it's right on the lighter side, but it's certainly showing a little bit of rotation coming right down 178 towards Annapolis there.
Yeah, so that would be where we have the rotation within this secondary warning, coming off 97, and along 178 right there. And as you can see it going in through its paces, it would be headed towards Parole, Weems Creek communities just outside downtown Annapolis. Yeah, Parole right along 665. That would be where the heart of the rotation is within this tornado warning. So, yep, tornado warnings, 2 of them actually impacting Anne Arundel County. But what forced us to come back on the air was
they've dropped that northern one now, Caitlin.
Okay.
So that northern one now dropped.
Okay, so now we're focused on from between Cape St. Clair, Arnold, Crownsville, Parole, and Annapolis. That whole area, generally speaking, and right over Parole is really where we saw the actual rotation that would have prompted this tornado warning. So that if there is a tornado warning in there, right in between, these are some smaller communities along I-78, Oak Court, south of Iglehart now, but Oak Court and truly downtown Annapolis here. So if these community names make sense to you, if you're watching from the Annapolis area, I know you get Baltimore TV, you get DC TV, but we cover Annapolis as well. They would all be within the path of this storm. So you want to take it seriously as a tornado warning and take shelter yourselves inside, lowest level of basement, etc., that sort of thing. So been a busy day full of a lot of warnings. This tornado warning is our latest one, and it's within a severe thunderstorm complex that's been coming out of central Maryland. It is now moving through more eastern parts of Maryland. So the red box is the tornado warning, and that goes, I believe, until 6:45. It does include all of downtown Annapolis. Yeah, there it is, till 6:45. And parts of Prince George's County, too. I forgot there, west of 97. That does include a little part of Prince George's County. So you guys are included in that. That is our tornado warning. We'll, of course, kind of show you everything else that's been going on. I know we were just on talking about it, but I do want to mention again this severe thunderstorm warning over D.C. itself. And this one, not producing any rotation, but it is delivering a history of wind damage. There's reports of trees down across parts of Montgomery County. So we are worried about straight line winds with this warning. It also includes a portion of Fairfax, Montgomery, and Prince George's County. There's the White House getting hit by some heavy rain at the moment now, and it's taken all day for downtown D.C. to see any rain or to feel the impacts of anything severe. But now they are finally seeing that storm reach them, and it should drop southward and eventually hit the airport, the southern side of the Beltway, and get into Alexandria, Mount Vernon, places like that. So that's an image of downtown D.C., not under a tornado warning. They're under a severe thunderstorm warning. There's another look at it from our Fox 5 sky camera at the wharf. Heavy rain and reduced visibility right over the Potomac, right over downtown D.C. You can certainly see it looks like a rough ride out there. But really a bad connection from D.C. to Annapolis up to Baltimore and then farther into northeastern Maryland of these really ugly storms that are producing everything today. Damaging winds, rotation, even some hail reported in Montgomery County. Very heavy rain. Flash flooding of a considerable nature up in Baltimore. So that flash flooding is mostly a Baltimore concern. But a tornado warning that looks like was cut down in size a bit, Mike, and still remains.
They did limit it just a little bit here. It's moving very quick, and it won't be long. I mean, this still, let's just be honest, it's not going to go till 6:45. This is going to get out over the water very, very quickly. But you can see right there, Caitlin, pretty clear. And this is out of BWI's radar. Right where that kind of inlet is would be where the tornado would be, just south of of where the word Annapolis is, and it's getting down. The BWI radar has the nice distinction of updating every minute, so we're getting kind of minute by minute here that it's going to be working its way off the coast. I would say probably within the next 5 minutes here.
Which is good, as we're taking a look from our Annapolis camera, and all you can see is that one lone mast of the boat right out docked on the bay, and it's ripping right across the downtown harbor and much of Annapolis. So Mike just pointed that out. It's great that we can zoom in and see this right on that inlet, tucked in there along Annapolis's shores.
Yeah, it's somewhere right around, and we're getting a new frame. That's why it disappeared. But right here, which is nice. So if you see your location on the map and you're in that nice little circle, I hope you're seeking shelter. But it'll be right around Victor Haven and Land's End. Fitting name as you get ready to work its way out over the Chesapeake Bay there. So we should get this new frame loaded in just a moment here, but I'll take it back 1 minute, and you can see it was right over Victor Haven, now getting towards Land's End, and within the next minute or two, it's going to be out over the Chesapeake Bay here. So city of Annapolis, I think they're in the clear. Downtown should be in the clear now, as this rotation would be right near Land's End. I'd say it's right over top of Land's End as we speak.
Yeah, and Bay Ridge right there on the corner, which is, nice area, nice little community of some summer homes and year-rounders, of course, but they're in a beautiful spot right there and just right on the water. So that's definitely right in the kind of the worst of where that rotation would be. So that, we have the warnings for a big section of the area, but it's true. What Mike's showing you is on the very eastern side of this warning and about to push offshore.
Yeah, it won't be long before it's out over the bay. So we'll take another big picture for you, too, because this went outside. I mean, we just stepped outside, or I just stepped outside a moment ago just to see. And, yeah, it's coming down out there here in Montgomery County and getting across central portions of D.C. Very heavy thunderstorm overhead. And this was kind of the threat here today with these tornadoes, is that just whenever you have these lines coming, you get a little bit of low-level wind shifts, and you can get these very quick spin-ups. And that is essentially what prompted that warning out in Annapolis. But you can see they just updated it once again. Now, it says new tornado warning, but that's just an update from the National Weather Service as they continue to really kind of tighten this.
Yeah.
I'm going to be completely honest and say I don't know why the northern fringe of this is in this tornado warning. I don't see anything tornadic on the northern edge of the box. It's kind of right there, that couplet.
Right.
That's going right into, I believe you said Land's End and Bay Ridge.
Bay Ridge, Highland Beach, that like real corner.
Yes.
Of
it would be right there. And we're getting a new frame in, and I bet you this next frame probably has it out over the open waters of the Chesapeake Bay.
Yeah.
It's moving that fast. Now, certainly within this, there have been some gusty, and I'll try and put the velocity tracker on it just so you can see that some of these winds have certainly been estimated. And these are low-level estimates, too, out of BWI's radar, which isn't far from this site. So it's estimating that winds at the surface over 50 to about 60, which is severe criteria. So folks, definitely take this seriously. This storm has had a history of producing some damage, just like the one in Montgomery County. No confirmed tornado or anything on the ground, or no sight of anything as of last check. But we absolutely want you to treat it as if it was confirmed on the ground here. But as I get the update in, see, that latest frame brings that kind of couplet right in here, just off the coast now of what would be Land's End. So just over the shoreline, and another update going in right now. I gotta love these low-level radars.
Really
they
nice.
update fast
every minute. Yeah.
But yeah, that rotation would be just like over the beaches there, right to the east of Land's End.
So, and just remind me, because we've had several tornado warnings. I don't think we've had any confirmed tornadoes yet.
I have not seen any confirmations of any tornadoes touching the ground just yet. No funnel cloud confirmations or anything just yet. But with such heavy rain in a lot of these, it would be really hard to spot. You're likely just going to have to watch damage reports if they do happen to come in later. But so far, yes, no sightings of any tornadoes confirmed by law enforcement or otherwise. Looks like we have a flash flood warning up for parts of D.C. as well, Caitlin. So let me get that up for you, too.
I was going to say that green indicator is a flash flood warning over D.C., which is likely for this area of just torrential rain. So you're looking at Annapolis right now, a slice of the very immediate coast east of downtown, still hanging on to that tornado warning. It'll be dropped soon. But we're going to move back to D.C. for a second and bring you this latest warning, which is a flash flood warning. So this is due to all of the heavy rain over such a short period of time. And it looks like it extends up into a portion of Prince George's County, Montgomery County, and Arlington as well. So Arlington, D.C., that's now our D.C. camera from down at the wharf. So very reduced visibility as the heart of the storm is over downtown D.C., bringing the very heavy rain. And so with a flash flood warning, now you're really worried about the ponding on the roadway, the rain rising, the water's rising really quickly out of the banks of streams and creeks, and then just water rising on the roads too fast that you don't want to drive into it. So here we are with a new hazard during our evening commute as it rolls on into the 6:30 half hour, severe thunderstorm warning and a flash flood warning out for Washington. Absolutely avoid trying to go out if you don't have to. As you can tell from the camera right there, that's downtown D.C. at the wharf. Highly reduced visibility from this torrential rain. Hopefully, it continues to move on its way through the city, and then it'll eventually get into Prince George's County, maybe drop into parts of southern Maryland as well. It seems to be moving east-southeast at this moment, and there's already a severe thunderstorm warning east of there. Yeah, I think we should be almost done with this tornado warning. And then at that point, we can transition to our 6:30 newscast, which I think Mike will take over once we're done. And hopefully that'll be fully dropped soon, Mike.
Yeah, I don't think it should be too much longer. I mean, the latest frames on this were showing the rotation getting off the coastline very, very fast, but certainly the potential was there for a quick spin up out in the Annapolis area. Warning does remain up, that red box right there, till 6:45. Now, they just dropped the severe thunderstorm watch, or severe thunderstorm warning, excuse me, that surrounds it. So it may not be long before they decide to go ahead and let this one go. But we'll hang out with you here until they have confirmed that, because we got a lot of viewers in Annapolis. We love you guys. We want to keep you all safe. Worst of the story, I mean, it's still downpouring overhead, but this rotation likely came right down kind of out of Crownsville, right through Parole, past just south of Annapolis, and should very quickly. I mean, nothing on that velocity tracker jumps out at me as signaling a tornado nearby. If we want to go out of the BWI radar, I think that was the one that had the best kind of shot of it there. And let's go ahead and we'll loop that. But nothing on there is really jumping out to me. Right there, you can see the rotation that went by right to the south. So, yeah, that should be well off the coastline by now. So I'm thinking that they are likely going to drop that. And you can see that is our Annapolis camera right below me there. Occasional lightning flashes on it, but it's nowhere near as a dramatic a look as it was about not even 10 minutes ago, about 5 minutes ago, when some of the highest winds were going right on by where we have that Annapolis camera. But now the rotation with it would be well off the coastline. So I think that this warning should be allowed to drop rather quickly here. So I don't see anything on there that is really overly concerning in terms of quick rotation within that tornado warned zone, at least not at this time. Big picture showing you, though. Thunderstorm, I mean, heavy rain in Annapolis, right back through Prince George's County. They did go ahead and put a severe thunderstorm warning out for parts of Prince George's, for parts of, I believe that even extends into northern Calvert County, but central portions of Anne Arundel County, just kind of clips northern Calvert County here. But this warning was extended central Prince George's County into southern portions of Anne Arundel County. Now we have another tornado warning. Looks like this one was just issued just south of the city of Fredericksburg, Virginia. So that's down in Spotsylvania County. So folks there, that's coming right out of Chandler, likely. And this was a storm that had previously rotated enough to prompt tornado warnings with it when it was back out to the west of the city of Fredericksburg. City of Fredericksburg getting hammered right now. And I'll tell my producer, if we want, I know we got a sky cam there. So if we want to queue up that sky cam in Fredericksburg, Virginia, yeah, Fredericksburg, Virginia, that would likely be looking right at this storm. Probably pretty heavy down there too. So Dalton's, you're in the path of this storm, 6:48. Micah after that at 6:52. Baylortown, if it holds together, 6:56. And then just before 7, it would get over towards Bowling Green if it happens to come together. Now, I do believe down this far south, that's kind of a little closer to the Richmond area. So they would likely be handling a lot of these thunderstorms. But close enough to Fredericksburg, we want to give you the heads up there, as that's sort of the southern extent of where we are. But you see right there, green is towards the radar, red is away. So you got a clear turning to the winds, at least in the mid-levels here, where you can see that there is a little bit of rain. Looks like our Fredericksburg camera not working at the moment, which is a sign that that storm coming through rather heavy going through the city of Fredericksburg. They're under severe thunderstorm warning as well. And looks like, Caitlin, they just extended that out. So they'll likely going to allow this tornado warning to expire. And then they extended out that purple box going a little bit farther to the east here for the city of Bowling Green, Port Royal down there in Northern Virginia. And that's that severe thunderstorm warning with rotation possible on it. So they're essentially saying, hey, quick flare up with this tornado warning here. We expect that it's going to weaken, but we're going to leave this tracker on it to say, hey, there is the potential that down that way we could extend this tornado warning if that happens to tighten up a bit. There is that Fredericksburg, Virginia camera for you. All right, we got it back up. As we can see down to the south. You know what? Lightning certainly in the distance, but downtown Fredericksburg, this one's pulling away from you rather quickly here. But yeah, those flashes you see, that's not our camera. That's the lightning that's going on. It's a heavy, heavy cell. Works its way through Spotsylvania County, Virginia, Spotsylvania Courthouse. You're up that way. And again, that tornado warning goes until 7 o'clock p.m. So we're likely going to remain with you for an extended period of time as we continue to track all this severe weather across the D.C. region. Last Tuesday, quite active. This Tuesday, a little bit more active across the D.C. region. Let's take a big picture shot for folks who are a little bit closer to town. We've been tracking now flash flood warnings across the district, and we always remind folks, you know what, number one, you have to go out tonight, you're driving anywhere, plan a lot of extra time, because some of the roadways, when they get flooded around here, can really lead to delays, backups, and you having to change your routes. Never try to cross anything that is covered. You never know how deep that water is, and even a little bit of water, if it's moving fast, can carry away your car and lead to water rescues in the area. So heads up for folks there. You're under severe thunderstorm warning, which kind of takes precedence, but once that goes away, you'll see that we're blanketed in green from central D.C. right up into southern portions of Montgomery County, just inside the Beltway there on the Prince George's County side of things of the Beltway as well. They are under a flash flood warning that will go for a few more hours yet. Thankfully, on the backside, a couple of showers popping up, but nothing severe there going by Rockville at this hour. So once this storm gets away from us here in Washington, that should be sort of the main event for the evening. And as it continues its journey down to the south and east, things should settle up a little bit here, and waters that did come up should hopefully recede in the hours ahead. And you do see how much quieter it's getting up through, say, Winchester, Clarksburg, Frederick County, which was hammered by this cluster of storms that prompted, at one time, I think we counted 5 or 6 tornado warnings on the eastern shore as this went on by. They still have that tornado warning up for portions of Annapolis, but that should be dropped. If they haven't dropped it yet, it probably should have been dropped, as the rotation in that storm is now well out over the bay and probably almost reaching the eastern shore. There's several cells, discrete supercells down across portions of the eastern shore that are showing some signs of rotation. Eastern Maryland's been hit hard a couple of times a day. Now, today now has another storm on their doorstep, so heads up for folks there. But just a lot of rain and a lot of wind within some of these thunderstorms that has done some damage, including several reports of trees down in Montgomery County that I know some of our reporters are working hard to get out and survey some of the damage that we've seen across the area. So right now, again, 2 tornado warnings that were tracked via that one in Annapolis really should be dropped at this point as the rotation's now out over the water. This one, we're going to continue to track. This is the newest one down in Spotsylvania County, just south. That's city of Fredericksburg, where we showed you that camera shot from just a moment ago. A lot of lightning. I mean, 119 strikes within the last 15 minutes. There is Fredericksburg. You can see activity picking up just a little bit, as you can see some of the reds now getting into the city of Fredericksburg. So likely going to see some heavy downpours getting in there. Although city of Fredericksburg not under the tornado warning. It is just down to the south of town there. Some of the counties, or some of the cities, I should say, that could be impacted by this tornado warned storm as it continues its journey down to the south and to the east. This would be if they extend it. Right now, most of these towns, you are not tornado warned, but this cell is heading in your direction. And should they decide to extend this past the 7 o'clock hour, you all may be issued under a tornado warning as well. That would be Dalton's about 6:48, Micah just after that at 6:52, Baylortown at 6:56, Broadus about 7 o'clock, and then Goldman's Corner, if it all holds together, just after 7 o'clock, about 7:04 this evening for that tornado warned storm down in that area. But you do see, of course, a lot of lightning with it, cloud to ground lightning. Can't rule out that out. That can certainly do its own type of damage there. Fredericksburg, you're looking at the cam, a lot of lightning being reported around you, and we're seeing a lot of lightning flashes there on that cam as this heavy, heavy cell comes down and passes just to the east. Now, good news for you all, it really shouldn't last that long. Probably 15, 20 more minutes before that back edge is getting through the city of Fredericksburg, and things will dry out a little bit for you on the other side of it. These storms have generally been moving about 35 to 40 miles per hour today, so pretty steady clip, at least on the southern extent. Problem with the one around D.C., well, it kind of built more in an east to west direction there, and that allowed the storms to kind of build back over each other, what we call training, and that's why we got a flash flood warning. Same thing happened up in Baltimore. So D.C. and Baltimore, kind of twin cities around here, and we're matching with flash flood warnings here this evening. Heavy storms then continue across Prince George's County, getting into Anne Arundel County. They still have that, although it should be dropped in the next 2 minutes as that was set to expire. That tornado warning that does include the city of Annapolis, but we've already checked on the rotation with that several times, and the rotation with that storm is now well off the coastline and shouldn't be bothering anybody anymore there in Annapolis. But still a heavy thunderstorm overhead with a lot of heavy rain, so be safe if you are in those neighborhoods. This cell coming out of southern Prince George's, getting into northern Calvert, not severe warned, but seems to be intensifying just a little bit as it works its way across portions. And there you go, right there, north of Prince Frederick, heading right into Sunderland. That one's been intensifying a bit. So heads up for folks there, you're about to get a pretty heavy storm. That is our wharf cam, just down to the, well, I'd say to the south, but below me here. And you can really see just how intense the rain is over downtown Washington. Good news for us here in D.C., too, is the worst of it is starting to push out over portions of Prince George's County, getting into eastern portions of the Beltway. That airport right there is Andrews Air Force Base. They're going to start to see activity pick up, and it's probably going to be about a 30 to 40-minute rainfall for them before it settles up. Here, downtown D.C., 15 more minutes likely here of rain to go, and then I think things will gradually improve for us. We did have another cell that fired across portions of Montgomery County. This one not severe, but a little bit of a downpour coming right through Rockville. That's going to cross over the 270 spur and maybe work its way over towards Silver Spring. So for folks there, maybe a little bit more activity to come, but look at how quiet the radar has generally gotten to the north and to the west. A couple more storms trying to get out towards, say, the Cumberland area, but we're not expecting those to be severe. We do think this is kind of the main event. So they did drop, good news, down across portions of Spotsylvania County. That rotation did weaken enough that they did allow that tornado warning to expire. So at the moment, I believe, if we want to zoom out, Caitlin, I don't believe we have any more tornado warnings here on our, at least west of the Chesapeake Bay. They still have that one in Annapolis. That should be dropping. There we go. We just hit 645. So that one did drop as we expected it would, but the rotation with that now basically on the eastern shore. So they probably should have dropped that a little while ago. But severe thunderstorm warning, parts of Prince George's County. D.C. no longer under a severe thunderstorm warning, but a heavy storm remains overhead for probably about the next 10 to 15 minutes. And then big picture showing you we're still under a tornado watch officially till 10 o'clock. I do think, and Caitlin continues to think with me, that this is likely the main event. So once we get past the next hour or two and all these storms work their way to the east of the Chesapeake Bay, things should really settle up here in the D.C. region. All right, with no more tornado warnings, I'll ask my producer if we want to go ahead and get back to news coverage, or if we're going to hang out here with weather. So let me give you the latest there. Again, tornado watch until 10 p.m. D.C., Baltimore included in this for now. And then out to the west, you do see severe thunderstorm watch until 10 o'clock. We would expect that this is going to start to be trimmed, especially in these northwest areas where you see very little activity. Rain cooled up there. Things pretty calm and quiet. At the moment now, at least west of the Chesapeake Bay, we only have two warnings that we're tracking. You have this severe thunderstorm warning. It's like Philly or just south of Philly, maybe Wilmington, Delaware area. They just got a new tornado warning up there, but that's well outside of our area. D.C. area, Prince George's County heading in over into southern Anne Arundel, and might just clip Calvert County there. But it's mostly for this cell coming out of Washington, D.C., going right through central portions of Prince George's County. That warning will go until 7:30 p.m. tonight. And then for folks just south of Annapolis, heaviest portion of this cell, though I will say the worst of this cell that went through Annapolis, that prompted that tornado warning, that is now for all your neighbors over on the eastern shore. Centerville, Maryland being hit hard with very heavy rain. And within this, those orange boxes saying that wind gusts have been indicated off of radar to maybe exceed 70 miles per hour. So that can certainly do some damage. Sunderland, that storm's been blowing up. It has not prompted any severe weather warnings just yet, but just a heads up for folks down there. Central portions of Calvert County. Prince Frederick, a little bit of light rain for you, but the heaviest portion of this cell is going through portions of Sunderland and then down across southern Maryland. A little bit more kind of run-of-the-mill rain and thunderstorm activity working its way through parts of Charleston Charles County, St. Mary's County. They had some earlier severe thunderstorm warnings, but Southern Maryland, you guys were hit heavier last Tuesday. And I would say, and I'll knock on wood here, you guys have been spared the worst of it this time around. But certainly good to see some rain going on through, as we could use the rain in some of these areas, which do remain under a very heavy drought. Heaviest cell is still this one, which at one time had prompted that tornado warning. But man, a lot of lightning with it. City of Fredericksburg, not too much longer. I mean, back edge is really starting to come through the city here, so shouldn't be too much longer. I'll see if we can get that camera up for you one more time here. Yeah, Fredericksburg, Virginia, to see exactly what it's looking like in the city. But I wouldn't be surprised to see if skies aren't brightening just a little bit to the north and to the west. But this county here, in Caitlin, what county? I have Bowling Green, Virginia.
I think it's Caroline.
Is that Caroline County, Virginia, still dealing with a severe thunderstorm warning with rotation possible? There you go, Caroline County. And there in Fredericksburg, we mentioned, you can probably see it brightening just a little bit there in the distance as that cell starts to pull away here. Off to the west of there, a couple more heavy cells, none of them severe warned at the moment, but man, has it been an active afternoon across this part of the region. Wave of low pressure working its way through the northeast is what's causing all of this trouble. Backside, a little bit more stable air trying to cross the Great Lakes, but you still have some scattered showers. So even as we get into the late evening hours tonight, we expect that the severe threat is really going to weaken. However, there could still be a pop-up shower or storm right through the late evening hours, but they should be very isolated. Caitlin, do we want to run through Futurecast and just kind of give folks an idea of what the next few hours are looking like here? You can see that this indeed was the main wave that was coming through Washington. So as we take this forward in time, you'll see it all gets over onto the eastern shore as we approach sunset. Notice a couple of passing showers here north and west of town, Hagerstown over towards Cumberland. And as we get into the late evening hours, a pop-up storm can't be ruled out. You see Loudoun County, it's giving you one about 9, 10 o'clock this evening, but that would unlikely be severe by that point. This complex of storms is going to take a lot of energy out of the atmosphere and not allow a whole lot of those storms that pop up later today to be on the stronger side. Skies then try to clear out during the overnight hours. Should be dealing with a lot more sunshine for the day on Wednesday. Could still maybe pop an isolated shower as will be unsettled, but that front that crossed the region today should be just bringing most of the energy along with it. So passing shower, we'll leave that in, but we think a lot of the area, a quieter day. Bit better feeling too. Temperatures still in the 80s, comfortable. It'll start humid, but as the day goes on, some drier air coming from the north and west should look better and better. Let's go right to the 7-day. I got about 10 seconds left. Let's show them that 7-day forecast. 86 tomorrow is what we're going for. An isolated shower on Thursday as well. Friday's a beautiful day at 89 degrees. And then the weekend, I think by Sunday, Monday, we're tracking some storms again. So heads up there. All right, any more warnings get issued, we will, of course, come back to you. Stick around. Much more Fox 5 News coming your way after this short break.